This next part, it's very important that you listen carefully, okay? I'm going to guide you in the theory part first. Give you all this illustration as how you're going to walk this path. Yeah, look at this first. Right, so right now, we are in position A. In position A, where you are in this state of mind. The first noble truth of suffering. Being bombarded by a whole army of Jerry with whatever word that you want to describe. Didn't even touch the actual thing in there. The label called stress, worry, anxiety, restlessness, loneliness, fear, anger, envy, or basically losing control of your mind. Losing control of your mind. This is where we stand. This is where we are. And then upon the enlightenment of the Buddha told us about position B, the destination where he has been upon his enlightenment. This is position B. Totally in control, bliss, calm, stability, confidence, tranquility, whatever the word that you want to use. It cannot touch the actual thing either. But anyway, so B is the third noble truth. B is the third noble truth. That is the end of suffering. The end of suffering. A is your suffering. So you have this journey to do. But this journey is not a physical journey. It's a mental and spiritual journey. So the uniqueness of the Buddha is that the Buddha, he gave us a very clear method, a clear means from A to B, as how to walk the path from A to B, from boom, boom, boom to total bliss. And this is called the Noble Eightfold Path, the fourth noble truth. The fourth noble truth, which I squeeze it down, I will emphasize only on the actual practice of the four foundation of mindfulness that the Buddhists call vipassana. I'd like everyone to repeat after me, please. Vipassana.
Vipassana.
Vipassana. This word is very important. You will bump into people who practice vipassana. So you would know that vipassana is the mindfulness meditation practice that can help you to end your mental suffering. But would you believe it or not, even to the Thai people, Thailand, 95-97% born Buddhist, but only 10% of the Buddhist population know about vipassana and know that they got to do vipassana. But the rest of the people, they only know the exterior of Buddhism. They come to the temple, do the offering to the monks, do the chanting, all these things. But they don't really know what vipassana would do for them. And they thought that vipassana only for monks to do, only for old people, and only for those who have broken hearted, who are so messed up in there, have to go to temple do vipassana. So it's still a lot of misconceptions. So I will have to explain this for you by give you three analogies. The first analogy, come back to this prop again. So you've got the physical self in opposed to your mental self, your real self, mental self, and then you got the Jerry. So Jerry that you face every day on a daily basis, all these problems jump into your life form in the form of Jerry, and Jerry hurt you. Jerry attack you. Or I can say that you, the red part, your inner self, you get lost in the mental jungle makeup of Jerry. Can you see that? Your mental self get lost in this mental jungle makeup of Jerry. All your problems, unable to come home. So what vipassana means is that the Buddha actually go to you, hold you the hand of your mental self and said that, come on, I will lead you back home. This is what vipassana means. That's why I create this terminology. Bring your mental self back home. You see that? BMSBH. Bring your mental self back home. Bring this mental self, go back home. We all need to have a home. Home is where we belong. So, this is the first analogy. Vipassana or mindfulness meditation is bring your mental self back home. Second analogy for people who still cannot grasp the first one. So look at Jerry as virus, bacteria that eating your inner self up. You even have the word, isn't it? Eating your inside up, eating you up, and then give you so much pain, So Vipassana is nothing more than medication, but it's not taken by your physical self. You don't put on the tongue and follow with water. The person who got to take this medication of Vipassana is your mental self. That's why you need a guide. Thirdly, if people still not happy with that two analogies, the third one, you are in position A, and the Buddha keep on saying that you must go to Shangri-La. Here is so beautiful. And the Buddha didn't just say that, you must go there. He gave you a transport. He gave you a car basically. But it's not Tesla, it's not Toyota, it's not anything. It's called Vipassana. So this car called bring your mental self back home, but the driver is your mental self. Driver is your mental self. So later on, physically you're going to sit still because this is not your physical journey. It's your mental journey. So your mental self, your inner self got to start working. Whereas your physical self just sits still and let your mental self work. So you can see that it's not straightforward. That's why you need a guide. Is that clear? So three analogy to explain to you why we need to do Vipassana or bring your mental self back home. So you can go from position A, boom, 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 to position B, blissful state of mind. Is that clear? So we start from a state like this. Physically, you all crunch up your face because of Jerry attacked you. Or this is another illustration that show you. You see, you can only see this physical part in the mirror, but not Tom and Jerry. Not Tom and Jerry. So this just help you to have a clearer image, that's all. So that you can be motivated to do the practice. So from a lot of Jerry that bombard you, attack you, we are going through Vipassana or bring a mental self back home. And then try to reduce the Jerry population. Try to reduce the Jerry population until you can reach your mental space. Reach your mental space, all the Jerry gone. So when you ask people that leave me alone, give me some space, give me some peace and quiet, give me some space, you don't actually mean physical space. You mean your mental space. Your mental space. But you, of course, I mean, if you have a bit of physical space, it will help you to get to that mental space a bit easily. But it's not always the case. Not always the case. Especially if you have this thing, keep on scrolling. You won't have your mental space either. Right, so this is your mental space that we want to achieve. Make our inner self become very calm and collective, in control. So this is exactly how you have to do. We got a physical self, and then we got the mental self that you cannot see. Physical self got the physical eyes. Mental self also got your mental eyes. Where is it your mental eyes? Exactly where your physical eyes are. Here. Let me see this. The term mental eye, inner eye, third eye, in fact, is the very ancient concept from Hinduism. In the Vedas time, thousands of years ago. So this concept, even before the enlightenment of the Buddha. So we got two physical eyes, and they all know about the inner eye, the third eye. The physical eye is for you to look externally to this physical world that is so beautiful, whereas your third eye, your inner eye, is for you to look inwardly. The inner universe is the part that creates the external universe. Therefore, it is much more complex than the external one. So, this ancient concept about this third eye, which is the tool for you to explore in the most scientific method. So what exactly that you need to look You will be trained to use your third eye to look at 3 groups of scenery. That is your breath, your movements, and your physical sensations. This is what you need to do later on. And then I'm going to give you my very own technique. If it's a traditional technique, like you come to here, do with Ajahn in the shrine room, you'll be trained to sit down with your back straight, cross-legged if you can, and then you watch your breath. You watch your breath. If not, you're going to train to walk meditation, to stand still for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Still. Oh, challenging. Okay, 5 minutes. And then if you walk, you got to walk really slowly. You did this before, right, Sondra?
Yes.
Yeah. 5 minutes, isn't it, standing?
Long time.
To stand at one place 5 minutes is a long. 1 minute is still a long time, because especially if you're fidgeting. So these are the traditional technique, which I won't offer you. Mine will be quite different. So I'm going to ask you to, tapping yourself, beating yourself up. Strictly beating yourself. Don't beat other people. I don't like you. No, beat yourself. Why? You need to wake up. You need to really wake yourself up. And then with this overwhelming sensation after you're beating, you're going to use your mental eye. You use your mental eye. You close this, and then you use your mental eye, and then you focus on your inner sensation, which are your breath, your motion. You don't have to open your eyes to look at your motion. You don't need to at all. You will see the difference, and then especially if you do all this, the sensation will be so strong, and then you just focus there. So this is the process that you're going to reduce the Jerry population in your head. The more that you have better focus, the quicker that you will get rid of, purge Jerry from your head, and leave you with this mental space that is totally calm and at peace. So no one can do for anyone. You've got to do for own self, because Jerry is within you. Is that clear? So once you get into the practice, you got a better idea. It's very much like this. So the picture of this man is equivalent to your mental self, and then the storm is Jerry. So without the pose, can you see that with the wind, let's say 100 miles an hour, where this man going to be? Will be like Dorothy, floating up there somewhere, right? You can appreciate the importance of this pole that the Buddha gave us. So this pole, this pose is your breath, your movement, your sensation, or the home where your mental self can take refuge. Is that clear? This is the foundation. Breath, movement, sensation is the home or the foundation where your mental self can take refuge. Because without this home, without this foundation, you'll be all over the place. And this is exactly what happened to the world right now. Especially at this moment, confusion and fear. Not knowing what's going to happen to us in the future. So is that clear? So everyone got to do on your own, okay, home. I will, as we go along, I will keep on explaining to you. And hopefully after a good, 20 minutes on, half an hour, you'll be able to dispose of quite a big chunk of Jerry and allow you to experience that peace and calm, that mental space that you all really want. Okay, mental space. And then I will guide you to see that whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you walk out. Walk out. No, I can't take anymore. I don't like it. But if you like it, carry on sitting. Okay. Because the lunch is gorgeous.
It is.
The lunch is going to make you hungry now. And so, okay. Yeah. All right. Are you ready? If you're ready, I'd like you to sit in a very most comfortable position with your back totally erected. As I say that, I'm going to use my very own technique, okay? It got tapping, thumping, you know, slapping all these things, slapping, just to try to wake you up, Right. So if you're ready, physically we're going to sit still because this is not a physical journey, it's your mental and spiritual journey. So your mental self got to work hard. So everyone sit still, close your mental eye, close your eyes, close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Really breathe deeply. And listen very carefully and always check with your experience inwardly. Once your physical eyes have closed down, everyone still have that very strong sense of self. The strong sense of self, that knowing that I'm here, I'm sitting, listening to Supuan. I'm here, I'm not dead. I can hear things, I can feel things, so I'm here. This sense of self that happens so innately is the working of your consciousness element. Consciousness element, which is a neutral term, and this element sometimes you call your soul, your spirit. They're all referring to this sense, to this consciousness element. This consciousness element, the function is for you to be conscious. For you to be conscious. It's still quite abstract. So anyway, consciousness element, give it a character by calling it your mental self, or your inner self, your mental self, in opposed to your physical self. So this mental self also got the mental eye. The mental eye is by your eyeball, by your eye socket, exactly there. Or you can focus on the red dot that the Indian woman puts there, they call bindi. So that area is the area of your mental eye. Eyes are for viewing. Eyes used as a tool for viewing. This mental eye can be classed as your sixth sense as well. Humans is born with six senses, not five. Everyone have that sixth sense all the same. That is having the inner eyes, the mental eye, the third eye, whatever label you want to use. So I'm going to emphasize to help you to see the function, the working of this third eye, mental eye, okay? Right, please everyone, use your hand and tap onto your cheeks. Tap onto your cheeks. Then your arms. The other side of your arms. And then your stomach. And then your legs. Right, and then you sit still. So we'll just explain what's happening. So what's happening right now in your life form is that the physical pain after the tapping, beating yourself, the physical pain is within the skin on your physical body, which is quite overwhelming. The buzzing sensation is quite overwhelming. And this buzzing sensation is being seen, being viewed, being witnessed by the subject. The subject is your mental eye, belong to your mental self. Or the subject is your soul, your spirit, your consciousness. But I will, from now on, use the term mental self with the mental eye, okay? So, with this drill, I want to introduce to you the person who, from now on, going to walk the path from A to B. That is your mental self which has the non-physical nature in nature. It's in the energetic form. You can say that, if you will. Okay? So, your mental self with the mental eye right now is the subject looking at the object. Looking at the object. The object is the pain within your skin. So, I have separated for you very clearly, precisely, between the subject and the object. And it is the subject, your mental self, who got to do the walking, who got to do the work from now on, to go from A to B. Okay? To engage in this journey, to go from A to B. So the task of the subject that need to do is to use the mental eye. Use your mental eye to wholeheartedly focus wholeheartedly onto the object, which are your breath, your motion, and your physical sensations. These are the three things, the three objects that your mental eye have to really focus. By doing this is the nature of walking the path from A to B. This is the nature of the walking of your mental self from A to B. But physically, you sit still, don't do anything, because it's not your physical journey, as I said. It's your mental journey, your spiritual journey. Your mental self have to do the walking. To do the walk is to focus, use your mental eye to focus on your breath, movement, and sensations. And always observe the golden rule. The golden rule is that as you are focused on your breath, movement, and sensation, you do not engage in thinking. Don't engage with Jerry. Okay? Don't compromise Jerry with Jerry. Even though Jerry come in, and then really entice you to think further. Oh, this is so exciting. This is so good. I got to spend some time to think. No. Don't entertain Jerry. Don't engage with Jerry. Don't compromise with Jerry. Come on, give me just 2 seconds to think about this. No. All you need to do is to cut the cord. Cut the cord from Jerry. It means that you just snap off from that thought. Once you snap off from that thought, you come back home. Home to your breath, home to your movements, home to your physical sensations. Okay, is that clear? This is how exactly your mental self going to walk this path from A to B. Okay, right. Now we are going to train a mental eye to look at something that is easy to look, that is your physical sensation. So we beat ourselves one more time, please. This time we start with massaging your headache point first, both sides of your temple. Try to wake your physical body up, and then massage your earlobes. And then tap onto your face. Tap on your arms. The other side of your arms. Your stomach. And your legs. Right, everyone, sit still and then begin your journey. Begin your mental journey is that use your mental eye by your eye socket, okay, your bindi. Wholeheartedly focus on the physical sensations in your physical body. Using the subject, focus on the object. Make your experience crystal clear to yourself, and then you will progress on this path quite quickly. And don't forget about the golden rule. Cut the cord from Jerry, always. Breathe deeply from time to time. Keep on watching the changing nature of your physical sensation. The sensation turn into throbbing here and there. Keep on looking even though the sensation have become so faint and vague now. Keep on looking. The way that your mental eye focus wholeheartedly on the foundation or the home. That is exactly how you're walking this path from A to B. Don't engage in Jerry. So come to this moment, you can see that the overwhelming sensation earlier, which was quite intense, have slowed down quite drastically now, and it's almost gone, apart from the throbbing, from mine anyway, the throbbing at the tip of the fingers. But even though you are sitting in this position, there are sensations here and there that you never thought that they have any significance there, but in fact they do. That is the sensation of your bottom pressing on the seat. A whole area of sensation there, have a look. The sensation of your back if you happen to lean against the chair. The sensation of your both hands touching your legs. The sensation of both your feet touching the floor. The sensation of your clothing rubbing against your skin. Therefore, the scenery that everyone look will be different. It all depend on what kind of clothing, the fabric that you have. So these are all the sensations which act like the foundation of mindfulness, or the home where your mental self can take refuge. Exactly the same as we look at the buzzing sensation earlier. And this is the significance of this sensation that we have, everyone all have with them, which to the Buddha, these are the spiritual wealth. The spiritual wealth embedded in this life form, that people who walk the street nowadays in the world do not even realize that they have it, because of the lack of guidance. So I'd like you to look at all this area, the bottom, the back, your hands touching, your legs touching the floor, and every area of your body that have the sensations, and knowing that just by wholeheartedly focus on this area of sensations is already the way that you are walking back home. By doing this, you are doing vipassana, the empowerment tool that can help you to be in control of your mind, of Jerry. So everyone focus in those areas. Right, the next one that I'm going to introduce to you is the motion. Please everyone, use your two hands, stroke your legs and go round your knees. As you're going round your knees, I like you to lean forward slowly. Lean forward slowly and then lean back as you're stroking back upward. By doing this, we have created the motion, the rhythm of the motion. There is no need for you to open your physical eyes to look at the motion, because the scenery of the rhythm of the movement is different from the sensations. So as you are looking at the scenery of the motion, of course you will see the the sensation as well. The sensation of your hand, you know, rubbing against the fabric. Which is quite normal. So please look at these two group of scenery together in one viewing. And then we add another group as well. As you are stroking, I like you to breathe deeply from time to time. Breathe deeply. And now we are going to learn to focus on these three groups of scenery in one viewing. You can choose to focus on the most obvious one. Your breath comes and goes, so you might miss it, which is okay. Choose to focus on the most obvious one, which is the motion and the sensation. You cannot separate them, and there is no need to. Sorry. It's very much like, sorry. It's very much like that. When you look at the sky, you will see the cloud. You look at the cloud, you will see the sky. You cannot separate them. There's no need to. So from now on, we are going to train our mental eye, which belongs to our mental self, okay, the subject, to fully focus, fully have awareness toward your breath, your movements, and your physical sensations. In doing this exact exercise, this exact practice, focusing on your breath, movement, sensation, is the very means, the very method to purge Jerry out of your house. Is the very exact means to dispose of Jerry, or to switch off Jerry. We are dealing with the most difficult component in this life form, which is non-physical. We can't see it. So therefore, you have to listen to the instruction that I'm giving it to you very carefully, very attentively, and really put into practice. Anyone who is watching this video on YouTube, please don't just watch the clip. Engage in the practice with us so that you can gain the result. Otherwise, you will not, and you will never understand what's going on. And it's wasting your time if you just watch. You've got to practice as well. Okay. This is your mental and spiritual journey. So your mental self have to work hard. And the way that your mental self works is to use your mental eye to fully focus on your breath, movement, and sensation without drifting away with Jerry. If you drift away, it's okay, but don't go away too long. Jump off the train of thought as soon as you are aware of it. Don't go from, London to Scotland, all the way to Scotland, think and think and think and think. No. Quickly jump off the train. Jump off and then come back home. Home to your breath, home to your emotions, home to your physical sensations. And this is the part that street walkers in the world that do not know. Something this simple, but they do not know because the lack of guidance. If you have found yourself speed up the motion, please be aware and slow it down. The speedy movement is the work of Jerry rushing you in the way that you don't even realize. So we are going to force ourselves to slow the motion right down, which slow, condition Jerry, the hidden Jerry, to leave us alone. And what we are doing right now, we're using the story language, the analogy language, which is we are trying to strengthen Tom up. Tom is a mental self. The reason that we are emotionally collapsed is because our Tom, our mental self, is very weak and puny, and cannot withstand the enormous force of a whole army of Jerry. So our task is to strengthen a mental self, or Tom, the cat, up. Make Tom very strong by doing what we are doing right now. Bring a mental self back home, okay? Once Tom is strong, Tom will sort Jerry out for you. You don't have to do anything. Because in the end, Jerry will be scared of Tom. But if Tom is weak, Jerry walk all over Tom. So our duty is to make Tom become very strong. And then the fully alert Tom, mental self, consciousness, will defeat Jerry for you. Will chase Jerry out of your house. Allow you to have your mental space that you deserve to have. I explain all this in the analogy language so that you can understand clearly what you're doing and gain your self-motivation. You want to do it yourself, not because you are forced to do. No one can force you to do this kind of thing, no. You've got to want to do it yourself. Now everyone, slow your movement right down and breathe deeply. Train your mental eyes to focus on every little minute detail of the scenery that you can witness. and follow the golden rule. Cut the cord from Jerry. Right, slow your movement down and bring it to a halt. Sit still. Once you sit still, you don't just drift, no. You keep on focus on your breath and the buzzing sensation all over your hands, your arms, your legs right now. Wherever there are sensations, focus. Still keep on walking the path. Never stop. You may begin to notice that inwardly you are experiencing the peace, the calm, the stillness. Your mental space begin to manifest itself, make itself clearer and clearer to you. Only to you. No one else would know. But some of you may still have a little bit of Jerry, comes and go, but they are not fierce Jerry anymore. They're not the type of Jerry that aim to, hurt you. There may be a type of Jerry that is quite harmless. A bit of memory come and go, like butterfly, flying through your home and leave you alone. Okay, be very observant of the change that is happening as you are progressing in your meditation practice. So we are going to do something a bit more vigorous, just to really dispose of all the Jerry and allow you to see the complete, mental space, a very clear state of mind that is totally calm, at peace and quiet. Right, please everyone feast your hands. Feast your hand and then start thumping your legs from above your knees up and down. And as you are thumping, okay, the movement is quite vigorous and strong and harsh. But can you see that your concentration is really full? Your focus is so full. Exactly the means that you want to achieve. The time like this is very difficult for Jerry to take you away from home. Your consciousness or your mental eyes really glue onto your breath, your movements, and your physical sensation. Especially these last two, movement and sensation. Can you see that you can't miss it? You really cannot miss it. If you miss it, you're not normal. You got to see it. It's so simple. Don't overlook it, okay? Very simple. Right, and then stop tapping. Use your right fist. Tap onto your left shoulders. And then thumb your arms all the way down. Oh, feel good. You feel good as well. And then your left fist, thumb onto your right shoulders. And all the way down. See? Full concentration happens so easily. So as you're doing this, you are walking the path. Can you see how simple it is? That's simple. Right, that's it. Sit still. And then focus on your breath and the buzzing sensation. Focus fully is how you walk the path from A to B. Breathe deeply from time to time. I'd like you to notice as well that when you begin to see your mental space, please observe that how good it is, how fun it is, just for you to use your mental eye to look at the pain from thumping. Can you see how joyful that is? And this part, those who do not practice along with us, they do not and will never understand what we mean by this. Really notice how joyful it is, how pleasant it is. Just to use our mental eyes to focus, to look at the pain, the sensations. And this very part is the secret of living on this plane. Is the true art of living. That is to find the joy, the pleasance, the contentment in just simply observing something within this life form already there, such as your breath, such as the motion, such as the physical sensations. Whereas people who walk the street think that happiness, content, have to be acquired from achievement of something big, to use money buy it, to compete to get something. In opposed to this, you can find the joy, the contentment, the pleasantness, just to watch and look at your own breath, your own motions, and your own physical sensations. A world of difference. Right, come to this point, I would like to think that most of you, if not all of you, can experience this mental space now. Okay, let's have a look into your head now. You don't have to open your physical eyes yet, okay? Just keep your eyes closed. Look into your head. As soon as I stop talking, see whether you have any mental monologue talking to yourself or not. If you don't see that, it means that your head have reached the state of silence, quietness. Your heart completely still. The silence in your head, the stillness in your heart. This entire experience, this manifestation, you normally use the word calm, peace. We use lots of this term, this familiar term, without knowing the actual experience. But today you have now. I want to believe that after a good half an hour of bring a mental self back home, you have more or less succeeded to dispose of Jerry, kick Jerry out of your house, and leave behind the peace, the calm, or the space within. So there are a few words that you can use to describe this experience, this manifestation that you have just seen, have arrived, which is position B that we talk about, which is the state of mind that the Buddha have witnessed on the night of his enlightenment, which he used a lot. Quite often he used the word void. But it's not the kind of void that have the sense of lack of contentment, lack of, something that I talked earlier. No, this void is just a void of Jerry. Void of Jerry, void of all these ups and downs within. A few words that people use: peace, calm, tranquility, stability. All these labels that we use. I like you to know that those are just labels, but this is the real thing now. The real thing is your experience. It's the manifestation that happened within. This is real. And this real experience can only be witnessed by the owner of the experience who have invested in the practice. You cannot have access to this experience just by reading the Dharma book alone. The 45 volume, the 84,000 topic that the Buddha have taught, even though you have read through all 2-3 times over, there is still no guarantee that you will experience this inner peace, not without the actual practice of vipassana anyway. If you read and practice as well, okay, you will. But if you just read for the sake of reading and thinking that you have gained the knowledge, that is very far from the truth. So it is this blissful state of mind that the Buddha called nirvana. No happiness is greater than inner peace. The Buddha referred to this inner peace that he have endorsed that it is the best kind of happiness. No happiness is greater than your inner peace. Nirvana is the best kind of happiness. He talk about this kind of happiness, this inner peace. So nirvana is your inner peace, which is the best kind of happiness. This is the endorsement of the Buddha upon his enlightenment. So I have guided you into this journey, this spiritual, mental and spiritual journey, by guiding you to know your mental self, the subject who got to walk this path from A to B. And now you get to this destination of B. Okay? Your peace, calm, nirvana. You can also use the term God. So basically you are, embrace the state of Godhood, or you are in the arm of God, whatever that make you feel good. Okay, but relate to this very state of mind that is void from any label at all. And the next thing that I like you to do, okay, before we get to that, the next thing I like you to look into your face, facial tension. Now look at your eyebrows. Is there any tension there? Let them go. Look into your eye socket. Any tension there? Let them go. Your facial tension is a very subtle type of tension that street walker cannot detect. You can only detect in meditation when you reach that mental space of mind. So look into your eye socket. Is there any tension? Let them go. Your cheekbone, your jaw, your tongue, especially your tongue. If there is any tension in your tongue, it means that you have some hidden jerry somewhere within. And you can see that once you just relax, let all the tension go along with your neck, your shoulders, you feel good and lighter as having less weight right away inwardly. But the facial tension will soon come back. So you just have to be more aware of it more often and let them go. Now once you relax and let go of all the tension, the next thing I like you to do is to be familiar with your mental space. And know that the mental space within is your home, is your territory, which is your duty toward your own life that you need to protect. Protect from whom? Protect from your very own enemy, which is Jerry. Home, bring a mental self back home. Home is our territory, is our refuge. We all need to have a home to come back to. So just now, earlier, we know home as a breath, home as the motion, movements, home as your physical sensations. Now, I want to introduce you to another home that you have just arrived. That is your mental space, your third home. The first two homes is just like the stepping stone, lead you to the third home, your mental space. It is this mental space that you got to look after, you got to protect from your inner embedded enemy, Jerry. And that is the practice of the third foundation of mindfulness, which is the advanced course. So today, we just come as far as your mental space. I won't delve into how to practice the third foundation, but I introduce to you, I let you know that this mental space that is so at peace, calm, and blissful, very quiet, very still, void of Jerry. This is the phase of your third home where you can take refuge. This is the best one. That's why you need to look after and on guard all the time to protect, to deter your enemy not to invade into this home and take over just like before. That happened to you before, or that happened to people who walk the street in the world. And before you have any motivation to guard your peaceful territory, I like you to tell yourself, answer to yourself that why you need to do it by comparing this state of mind, comparing this state of mind that is so blissful, at peace, to the state of mind prior that has been infested by Jerry, has been taken over by Jerry. Having Jerry send you up and down the entire spectrum of your emotional scale, up and down. Okay? I like you to really compare that state of mind, that sailing up and down the emotional scale, totally exhausting, to this very calm state of mind. And I like you to answer to yourself alone, which state of mind you prefer. Which state of mind you prefer it to happen to you more often. The up and down the emotional scale, or this very steady, peaceful state of mind. No excitement, no up and down, not many color, but just simply at peace. Very steady and at peace, very down to earth. Answer for yourself which one you prefer. Because if you prefer the latter, the peaceful state of mind, you will subsequently know what you have to do with your life from now on. No one would force you. No one can. I'm only the messenger. I'm only the guide. You compare for yourself. We come to the age that we have been through all these ups and downs a lot already. So answer to yourself, if you like the latter more, you prefer to have this steady mental space with you more often. What you need to do after is to put this meditation, mindfulness meditation or vipassana, or bring your mental self back home practice, embedded as part of your life, the same as you got to breathe to survive. You got to breathe to survive, to eat, to drink to survive. physically. Likewise, you got to do vipassana. You got to do meditation, bring your mental self back home to survive mentally and spiritually. As simple as that. This is about the survival of your mental and spiritual life. This got to be a big part of your life. That you got to correct somehow into your activity. I can only tell you mine. So my life for many years now, I get up between 4, half 4, and before 6 o'clock anyway. And straight away I would do 50 minutes, 40 to 60 minutes of yoga. I do my yoga with my eyes closed, which is meditation all along. Know my breath, know my motions, know my sensations. 50 minutes of that. Follow with 20 to 30 minutes of Tai Chi in the garden. Deep breathing, slow motion, meditation again in motion. Finish with that. My mind would be in the state of total bliss, and I would just innately feel like to sit down in silence. So I would sit down in meditation for another 50 minutes to 90 minutes. And this is my routine before breakfast, starting from 4 o'clock onward, depends. Okay? And this is the routine that I don't force myself to do. I view it as my day, to start my day. I need to eat to survive physically. I need to do all this routine to survive mentally. And this, the endorsement for me to sit here on this side and sharing all this experience and messages with you. So everyone got work to do. If you want to have a steady life, a steady state of mind, keep your peace, your calm, your cool, your steadiness. This won't just drop down from heaven for you because of your prayer. It won't happen just like that. According to the Buddha, we need to invest our life within. Right, please everyone, can you just massage your temple? Massage your earlobes. Tap onto your face. Tap your arms. The other side of your arms. Your body. Your legs. Right, sit still. And look at the joy in just watching the buzzing sensation in silence. Physically, it is quite turbulent, but mentally, spiritually, inward, is very calm. The viewer, the observer is very calm. And look at the turbulent physical body. Those who don't practice along with us will never ever understand what I mean by all this. You must practice. Now I'm going to train you to be observant even though your eyes are open, okay? Right, before you open your eyes, tap onto your leg again. Okay, right. Now separate very clearly between the observer and the observed, the subject and the object. The subject, the viewer, is your mental self with the mental eye, non-physical part, component of this life form. The object is the pain within your physical body. It's still non-physical, but at least you know that it's within your physical body. Okay, separate the subject from the object clearly first. And look at your mental space. Be familiar with it. Know how it feels. Now take a deep breath and slowly open your eyes. Your physical eyes open now. Okay? Your mental eyes also still there. Use your mental eyes still. Look at the pain that is happening all over your physical body, and still look at the mental space within. The mental space within. That's why it's so important that you got to be so familiar with your mental space. It's silence in your head and still in your heart. Okay, so this is your territory that you got to guard well. By training this mental tom, okay, mental self to be strong. To be strong. And then always look at this mental space. It exists in the background all the time. Exists in the background. Okay, it's very much like this. So this is the space, right? The space. Space is nothing, void. And then if Jerry were to come in, Jerry will come through the space. But Jerry will come and go. Jerry will come and go. So your job is to know the space within and then know Jerry that comes. It's different component. Totally different component. Okay. But in the advanced course, I'm going to tell you that this mental space, okay, is your real home. It's the home that is always there. It's your host mind. Your host mind, which is always there. Whereas Jerry is your guest, your mental guest that comes and go. That comes and go. But because all these, they're non-physical and trapped within, okay, within, enclosed in your body. So you cannot see. That's why I need all these props to help you to understand. But what most important for today is that you've got to know the subject who walked the path. Okay, this part is non-physical. Only this part. We got 5 parts. This life form make up of 5 parts. Okay. There is only one part that is physical. That is your physical body that you can see in the mirror. Okay. The other 4 parts, this part, make up of 3 components. That is your thoughts, your memories, and your feelings. So I round them up into Jerry. Just one word, Jerry. And then the 5th part is your consciousness, your soul, your spirit. And they are all different components with different function. Okay, so it's very important for you to know the subject, okay, from the object that you will look, breath, movement, sensation. And then the advanced course will train you to look at Jerry that comes and goes like this. Okay, so I think we need to take a break first. Okay, let's take a break. It's a lot to take in. That's why I need to record this for you, and then you can play back. Yeah, take a break and then have a hot drink. Come back, and then I will tell you more. Right, stop this. The monk are eating now. That's why we